Go Ford for your next truck or SUV and find an easier way to buy with Woodhouse Ford today, and experience the convenience of buying with Woodhouse Ford. Save up to $13,000 off MSRP on a 2023 Ford F-150 XLT, plus 3.9% APR for 60 months with approved credit. $299 doc fee due at signing. Security deposit waived. Expires 1/02/2024.
My name is Terry Lynch. I'm with Oregon Ufology. I found myself searching for a passageway one day. And that passageway leads right across the complete section of the Cascades, which I'm sitting in front of at the moment. On top of one peak. I want to make sure that everybody sees the type of things that we find in the process of research for ufology. I have located a couple that's sitting here on the top of Blind Peak. She's facing south. He's facing north.
The Middle, Cascadia Guides, alleged production, in conjunction with Alien Strand Films.
I think what's important is that we have identified some very, very interesting anomalous type of aircraft. Let's call them aircraft. Things that don't have any obvious flight surfaces, any obvious forms of propulsion, and maneuvering in ways that include extreme maneuverability beyond, I would submit, the healthy G-forces of a human or anything biological. Hypersonic velocities, low observability, positive lift, again, seemingly defying the laws of aerodynamics.
Pilots in two different planes, one a Learjet, the other an American Airlines jet, reported seeing a mysterious object over Arizona last month, we have learned. The exchange with air traffic control sounded like something out of the Twilight Zone.
Number 71 Papa Golf, good.
Yeah, there was anybody above us that passed us like 30 seconds ago?
Number 71 Papa Golf, negative.
Something. A UFO. Yeah. It's murder 1095. Yeah, something just passed over us. Like don't know what it was, but it's at least 2,000-3,000 feet above us. So yeah, it passed right over the top of us.
No one has figured out what it was. Other pilots did say they saw nothing.
So there are many different races of what we call Nordics, and there are many different races of what we call Greys. And it's not all good, all bad. There are
Club from Corpus Christi, Texas, and you're listening to the Alien Strand broadcast with Donna Ledesma, the best alien podcast out there on this side of the Milky Way. My next fight is February 18th at the American Bank Center from Corpus Christi, Texas, and you can find me on social media at TravisC_361 on Instagram. Keep your gloves up and radios up, and I'll see you there.
everybody, and welcome to another episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. Yeah, it's going to be another good one. Of course it is. It's always good, when we're giving the information to you guys about, ufology, UFOs around the world, and stories of the unknown, UFOs, spiritual, Bigfoot, extraterrestrials. We talk all about that here on Alien Strand. Now, today's podcast is going to be a pre-recorded, another one, with Mr. Terry Linch and Mr. Anibal Caballero and myself. So we had a live YouTube session, of course, and we've been doing that a lot lately on YouTube. So we have our YouTube. We go on YouTube Live there. We go on Facebook Live. And we go on Twitch Live all at the same time. So, if you guys ever catch our live podcast, you can catch them there, when they come up live. Just go to our Facebook page, and a lot of times I will put out a flyer that day or maybe a couple of days before the podcast, so that way that it's coming up, right? It's coming up. So, and I just want to welcome everybody to Ufology and Alien Strand Podcast. Don't forget to share with all your friends. We're on 26, 27 platforms, all over the world, and people are just listening to us all the time, because we have a lot of interesting things to say about ufology and about things of the unknown, and that's what we do. Now, don't forget to catch our documentary, The Middle, which you heard the commercial to at the beginning of this podcast today. We are now on Amazon Prime. So if you go to your Amazon Prime, you can just sign in there, look for The Middle, hit search. You'll pretty much find it under documentaries and science fiction. So you'll be able to find it in that category. Now, if it's not there yet in your country, it'll probably take a few more days or maybe a week before it jumps up there. So a lot of people are really enjoying the documentary film that we did for the Alien Strand and Ledge Productions and Mr. Terry Lynch, and we told an amazing story, and this is not just your regular documentaries that you're always used to seeing the same things over and over. Roswell, this and this, this has a lot to do with a brand new find of geology that he found on top of a mountain, something that's nobody's ever seen before. So I was able to put it on film, so that way you guys can see it for the very first time. This is a brand new find. It's nothing that anybody has ever seen before. So this is an interesting documentary, and it has a lot of stories of people and their stories of interacting with UFOs. Okay, so and it's a great story. It comes together very well, and I just want you guys to enjoy that. So you can catch it there on Amazon Prime as well. And we just got accepted to a new station as well, a new channel. So, our new channel is called Rewarded.TV. So that will be on there in about a week or so. Okay, so we just got accepted just yesterday, so now we're on 2 major channels, and hopefully we'll be growing more and more. So if you do watch our film, please give us a review on it, give us 4 stars as soon as you watch it at the very end. I don't think it lets you do it on the TV app, but you can do it on your phone app. So go to the very bottom of the page or the left of The Middle, and you'll be able to review it there. Give us some, say some good words if you liked it, and tell us what you think, because we have the second one coming out soon, and you have to see this first one in order to grasp the second documentary that's coming right after this one. Okay, so thank you guys, and I really appreciate that for you guys purchasing it. It's real cheap. It's only like $2.99. You can beat it. The whole family can watch it. Or if you want to purchase it, it's like $14.99. It's yours, man. You can watch it whenever you want to and show friends and just enjoy the film. And you know what? Everything goes back to ufology that's put into it. So it is a lot of hard work, and we're already planning on the second film. It's called CE3. Okay, so please watch the first one, The Middle, and then by the end of the year, we should have CE3 ready to rock and roll. All right. So again, today's podcast is number 84 with Mr. Terry Linch and Anibal Caballero. We have a nice conversation about UFOs. Of course, it's a video podcast, so we are showing videos, right? But as you're driving down the road, I know it's hard to watch a film, or your phone while you're driving. On this one, you can listen to the podcast. I am going to put a link to the film. I'm going to put a link to the YouTube channel. Please subscribe. We need about 1,000 subscribers, and we'll be able to get that film on YouTube for free for you guys, all right? So we'll be able to get that on there. But we need 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So this podcast is called The Middle of UFOs, number 84, with Mr. Terry Lynch, myself, and Mr. Anibal caballero. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing going. And I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. As we talk about UFOs, we're gonna talk about the middle. We're gonna talk about a lot of things, especially the way crafts operate in the sky. So hope you guys enjoy it. Here we go. What I'm going to do, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring them in. I'm going to bring Mr. Terry Linch in first. There he is, the man with the plan. And then how we got the master himself here is Mr. Anibal caballero. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good. Hey, guys. Hey, Anibal. Hey, Donald.
What's up, brothers? So I wanted to introduce everybody here today, because we all contributed to the film the documentary film that we did called The Middle, right? And I wanted to make sure that everybody knows that everybody here that are watching here it played a big role in this documentary, especially you, Mr. Anibal. The story was about Mr. Terry Linch, and people want to see The Middle. It's right here. You can see it on ledsfilms.com. And now we just got on Amazon Prime. All right. So if you want to see it there, and it's a little bit less, so it's $2.99 there on Amazon Prime. If you want to check it out, you can rent it, and it'll give you, I think, 48 hours with it, or you can buy it for like $14.99, and it's yours. You can download it to your phone, download it anywhere, and you can watch it at any time. But this is the film that we were all a part of, and I was happy to bring this information to everyone. Now, on this film, we want people to know that it's not your standard ufology, ancient aliens kind of thing. This has a find up there in Paulina Peak up there in Oregon, where Mr. Terry Lynch found, right? So when he found this, it was exciting to me and exciting to him, but at the same time exciting to Mr. Anibal too. So what do you guys take on the film so far, but on how it came out and how it's doing?
Go Ford for your next truck or SUV and find an easier way to buy with Woodhouse Ford today, and experience the convenience of buying with Woodhouse Ford. Save up to $13,000 off MSRP on a 2023 Ford F-150 XLT, plus 3.9% APR for 60 months with approved credit. $299 doc fee due at signing. Security deposit waived. Expires 1/02/2024.
All aboard for your chance to win $1,000 every week until December 28th. That's right, $1,000 cash just in time for the holidays. To hop on board, just head to ChurchillMortgage.com and punch your ticket to the Churchill Express giveaway. Visit ChurchillMortgage.com for your chance to win big.
This is a paid advertisement. NMLS ID 1591. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Equal housing lender. 1749 Mallory Lane, Suite 100, Brentwood, Tennessee 37027.
Oh, my.
Terry, good. I go first.
All right. Well, I would have to say that when this whole thing started to come to a start, I had mentioned this whole plan to Anibal. It took a little bit of telling him what I was kind of up to and what I wanted to try and learn from him, because he's a really good teacher. Anybody that gets in his path is going to learn. There's no way around that. Exactly. He taught me how to see certain things in the skyline, and when I started to learn how to see these things in the skyline, immediately I was wanting to find a good eagle's point, a eagle's nest where I could see everything happening.
Right.
And I started kind of looking around in the area, and I started videoing the face of Paulina Peak. And once I started videoing the face of Paulina Peak, I started showing these videos to Anibal. And Anibal was picking craft out left and right that were going either into the mountain or hanging out in front of the mountain stationary for, I had one video that was like an 8 to 10 minutes of stationary, a craft right in front of a specific location. So I decided I was going to go ahead and try and see if I could find like a trail to that area. I got onto satellite imagery. And when I started looking at the satellite imagery, I found something that was more remarkable than anything I could have ever imagined, you know? When I saw what was up on the very top of Paulina Peak, my next step was to learn a lot more about geology as well. That way I could figure out why all of a sudden this thing appeared the way it did. You, Donald, you had done some research on this yourself, showing where this thing had emerged in like 2011 after what's called mass wasting took place and washed out around the rocks. And it showed this big debris field that was up on the top of this volcano that had been covered up 6,000 years ago. Now, whatever this is that's on top of the volcano, it's way older than 6,000 years old. 6,000 years is just when the thing covered up.
Right.
However, the videos that I had taken, first off, I want to point out that Anibal is he's somebody I consider a professor of ufology. He's the guy. He taught me. Jody Gordon taught me, and a guy named Tino Gallegos had taught me the things that I, you know, the key, the root, the base of what I needed to know to start learning how to research these things properly. Even Anibal had really gone out of his way to try and teach me. I don't know how many people he goes this far with, but this was a little gift from Anibal.
Nice.
He sent me this is night vision, and this is also infrared.
Beautiful.
It can zoom in. It does. Anyway, my stepson for Christmas, he made sure I had every battery I'll ever need for it and all the memory I'll ever need. And this is about to become a tool that's going to go into the field with me almost every occasion. So thank you very much, Anibal. I want to publicly thank you for that, mister. You made some serious research happen.
So
okay,
Anibal, what are your thoughts about, you know, when Terry first started bringing these these images to your attention on what he wasn't seeing and what you were seeing? I mean, how did you figure that out, or how did it go?
Kind of difficult to say how I figure it out. But, before I spoke to Terry, I've been doing a lot of research on UFOs and things that you can't see. You know, pretty much the light. Depending on the light, you can see more things, or depending through a filter, pretty much like NASA does. But when I saw that, when he showed me those pictures, at the beginning I couldn't figure it out anything about it. But I thought, I thought about it. He kept on telling me, this is going to go out. We're going to make something out of this. This is amazing. And to be honest, there's a big difference between what Terry showed me before and what I saw in the film. A huge difference. I mean, perspective, view. You have to see with your eyes to understand. I mean, for me, it was a heck of a surprise. It's just amazing. Right. But on the subject of the UFOs, which goes to the same thing, there's something that's always left behind. It's an energy that they leave. And especially on this here, what we're talking about, it has that signature there. So I made a couple of tests and found more than I expected, let's put it that way.
Yeah, and you surprised us with that just today here a couple of hours ago with that information. This is something that we didn't see. I mean, when we flew the drone over there and we got those images and the video of these two looks like aliens that are back to back, sitting back to back on the side of a mountain. Now these things are like they're 38 feet across, right? They're huge. It's not small.
That was our measurement.
It's not small, so it's almost like 38 and 38. You know, the width and the top, so it's almost equal. But we didn't see the thermal imagery that you were able to catch. It's almost thermal in a sense, but you're able to catch the electronic magnetic fields on that image, right? You know, it's just one of the things, man, that you know, we're trying to figure out, you know, what these things were, you know, and when you see the film, you know, we weren't trying to point the direction to where saying, okay, you know, we're full of crap or whatever, but because we're not. Everything that you see in this film is true and true in nature. So these are everything that you were catching there, the images that Terry was catching on his cameras, the analyzation that you did, Mr. Anibal, on those was incredible. Enough for me to say, whoa, wait a minute, people need to see this, right? So, and that's why we put this film out, because it just doesn't show you the ufology aspect of, oh, look at that in the sky. Oh, look at that. It actually teaches you how to see these crafts. So this is the difference between this documentary that we made, The Middle. It teaches you as well. So there's a lot of learning information in there for everybody, right? So, I mean, it's just one of those things, you know. I mean, what do you guys think about that, Terry?
I think that every chance that we get to teach people how to look up and teach them how to see this stuff for themselves, and how to teach them to, you know, shut their mouth when they're talking about somebody else's research, the better off we're going to be. Because every time you have somebody that goes up there and blindly says that's fake, that sets us back another 10 years every single time. And that even if it's just with that one individual that put zero effort into the words it's fake, versus me or Mr. Anibal or you that's put 10 years or 20 years. I'll give you a good example. There's a guy, Jeff Woolwine. He's been doing this for at least 20 years now, at least. And everybody considers it something he's only done for, you know, it's the first time. No, the guy's put his life into that. Annabelle, he's put a lot of effort and a lot of time into making sure people aren't just walking around confused about what they just seen. Okay, he gives you kind of an idea, and then he'll set you with other people that have seen exactly what you're talking about, and then now you get to sit and you're with a group of people that are literally right where you were at. Okay, you've learned something. Now you don't feel like you're crazy, because now you're in a familiar environment with other people that know exactly what that you had seen, what you had seen, and as you describe this, you're describing it exactly the way they had seen it. Okay. You're not making anything up. If you're making something up, we'll call you out fast. You have no idea how fast you will get called out if you try and log into one of our groups and you try and start making up this whole thing of, well, it told me that I'm a genie and I need to float on a cloud. And you see where I'm going? That's not what we're about. No, we see something that's in the sky. We're documenting it. We're going through scientific practices. We're having check and a check and a check. And what we're doing is since there are no doctors in this field, you're looking at the people that people usually check with.
Right.
Mr. Anibal, he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's a professor in this. I personally, I hope that someday they decide that this is something that's worth a doctoral, and I will talk to him. So will Mr. Anibal. And so will anybody else that's on top of this. We are the people that they need to come talk to even learn it. Okay? So we're the educators, and we're going to educate as many people that want to come do this. And we've never charged a single person to get this knowledge. Right. Have you, Anibal? No, nope. I didn't think so. He didn't charge me. As a matter of fact, I've walked away with equipment and I walked away with knowledge, and I still haven't been charged anything.
And you know what's crazy about that too? Because when I started doing it, I mean, I've always noticed the UFOs and the pictures, and I've always zoomed in with my cameras and my phones, and you know, just trying to figure it out. But I never looked at the analyzations of it, right? The spectrums of it, right? until when I started talking to Jody first, right? And then she introduced me to Anibal, and then that's where it started going. And then check this out. So then Jody sends me this beautiful freaking lens for my Nikon camera, right? So and it's the 200 millimeter lens, right? And I was like, whoa, this is a cool zoom. It's an old lens, right? Because I was getting into photography too at the time. So, she put her hands in there and said, look, she grabbed me by the hand. Here, this is where you go. This is where you start, right? And Anibal too, showing me, trying to figure out how you could see these crafts. And I would be wrong sometimes. He would say, no, check again. No, check again. And this is where he was like, there it is. And once I found it and I started seeing the anomalies in the spectrums, he showed me, okay, now you're hitting it. Now you're right on the right. Now you know what you're looking for. So in other words, what you catch, what Anibal catches, what anybody catches out there, it goes to not just Anibal, it goes to Terry, it goes through me, it goes to a bunch of people. We all filter this thing in different ways, and everybody has different ways of filtering. And sometimes we catch different things in these doing it this way, right? So it's a learning process, and that's what this film has a lot to do with it.
There was there was something that Anibal and I had done about 3 years ago. Him and I sat and we went through every single launch that we could find that had anything to do with NASA, Russia. You remember this? We went through this and we slowed every single one of them down and we filtered them. And guess what? There's more of their craft in the sky than there are ours.
Of course there is.
They're going past non-stop, man. They don't even stop. They go by. They're so busy trying to figure out what the hell we're up to. I'm sure that they're pretty excited to watch that we put this fuel thing in and we push it out the back end and make it go. Right. And we get all the way up to like almost 1,000.
So we have.
Meanwhile, they're shooting past us like nothing.
So we have Angelica Stats. She says hi to Mr. Anibal. So, I mean, I could see people's messages as they're coming through. So, if you guys want to say hi or whatever, I'll feed y'all through as well. But, and thank you for watching the show today. And so what I'm going to do now is let's go ahead and let's talk about this next. This viral video that came out this week. Anibal, have you seen this?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So this one came out a couple of days ago, and it went totally viral. This UFO, as you can see there on the top of that, it's a smoking volcano, man. It's a live volcano, and somebody caught this craft right over this volcano. And look at the way this craft looks like. It was caught by Carla GC over in I don't know if I can say this right, but Popocatépetl volcano in Mexico.
Popocatépetl.
Yeah, Popocatépetl in volcano. That's the name of the volcano there in Mexico. So, when we all saw this, it's a pretty nice image. What do you think about this, Anibal?
The first thing I looked at, but just looking at the image itself and the way it's actually taken, I could pretty much say it is a UFO for sure. There's no doubt about it. But it's right. Too impressive. The clarity of it is just amazing. I don't know what kind of camera was used for that one.
Right. It looks like it was zoomed in. I mean, because it's a far picture when they zoomed in, but the pixels are good, so they might have used like a 24 megapixel or 48. I mean, I don't know what they caught it with, but it zoomed in pretty good. Now, look at the third picture there on the right, the third picture to the right.
Yeah.
You see the way that looks?
I think you see the smoke of the part of the volcano coming up.
The third one to the right. It almost looks like a bird in flight with the wings back, in a sense. Now, when I look at that image, now have you seen the like when you see Egyptian hieroglyphs?
Right.
And you see like the sarcophagus that they put in the hieroglyphs, it looks like a sarcophagus. This has the exact same shape of that. You see that?
Oh.
That certainly does.
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah. And kind of brings me kind of to thinking, do the Egyptians? They know that these pyramids were there for a long freaking time, even before the Egyptians. So to come up with that shape and the shape of and put them in sarcophagus, people, people that were like kings and queens. These are the people that mainly put them in. Of course, they did it to like priests and everything like that, but I don't know, man. It just kind of it freaks me out just to see this image of this UFO here. Terry, what do you think about this here?
Well, I am seeing on that third image, like you were talking about, I am seeing what's called an EMF, electromagnetic flux field.
Right.
You can tell by the distortion. Yeah, I can clearly see it around, and this on the third picture as well. It's a distortion. This is why most craft aren't clear, but this one happens to be stationary, so it's not throwing out a hydrogen bubble around the craft itself. So now basically what we're getting is a good clear EMF. We're directly over the top of its power source, which every one of the volcanoes, as far as I'm concerned, every one of the volcanoes is a hive, which is where you'll find mostly your Zeta.
Okay.
You got your grays, Zeta grays that we continue to call them a Zeta, but I believe that they're in transit between the two locations. They go between Earth and they go between Zeta Reticula. Almost every one of these craft that we're running across seem to be having they pull themselves towards the volcano systems that we have around the planet, and we keep seeing craft going in and out of these usually from the top end. Sometimes we'll get lucky enough to catch one that's like this right here while we're all watching it, and then you'll get to see them go dive directly in between. I think again, I'd have to be on the craft to be an exact answer, but I think that when a volcano is starting to erupt and we have the bubbling and all the things that are going on, we're all very well aware of how fast these things move. They can move in a blink of an eye, they're gone.
Right.
So I think what's happening here is these things are waiting for a bubble to come up inside of that volcano. As soon as they see that bubble open up, they're in. They go straight into the top of that volcano through the bubble. And if they don't use the bubble, if they're not using that bubble, I think it's the easiest way for them to get in. If they're not using that bubble, then they use what Dr. Albert Einstein and Dr. Nathaniel Rosen called the Rosen Bridge. I brought that up in one of our earlier interviews. The Rosen Bridge, from what I'm gathering, I've got a friend in this exact location where this volcano is located. His name is Tiberino Sanchez. He's located right in the same location. This might even actually be a mountain he's working on. He has a lot of craft that are going in and out of the volcanoes down there. And in the future, the Middle and Oregon Ufology and Research, as well as Alien Strand Disclosure Project, is going to be working a little closer with Mr. Tiberino Sanchez. We're trying to tie our research in closer around the world to all these different locations. We have friends in Australia, Africa. We have friends in England. We, like Dave Monday and Isle of Wight. We got friends in Australia, like Chris Hamill. He's a really good ufologist.
But let's
simple things.
Anibal, I mean, what are your thoughts on these crafts that mainly catch over volcanoes? Why?
Yeah,
what do you think?
I wanted to bring a point on the EMF side of it.
Okay.
The electromagnetic field. These craft, I mean, our eyes usually don't see much of it. Right. That's a way we can actually see it, that field. But depending on the craft itself, they are totally different from each other. They do not show up the same way. The way it actually shows up on the whole area. So this might have one type of EMF, like we checking the filters and see what it looks like. but another craft will be a totally different thing. One will be loaded with a lot of colors, incredible colors. I mean, it's crazy to see. But then the other one might just be black and white. So it all depends on the craft itself.
Gotcha. Sean says hi from Phoenix. He's up there in the Navajo Nation. And then we have Cindy Grigsby watching. She says hello from Portageville. She was a great
Navajo
guest
Nation.
as well. That's right. That's right. So, you know, and this is what the film that we were trying to portray as well, how a lot of these crafts are caught over these volcanoes or even dormant volcanoes, right? So, and that's what Oregon, up there in Oregon, where La Pine over there, where Mr. Terry Linch lives, that Paulina, it's not really live. It's kind of dormant. It's been dormant for a while, but there's a lot of activity over that. There's a lot of activity over, what's that other mountain you talk about? Mount Shasta. You know, there's an entry point there, you know, where they're catching a lot of crafts out there, you know, and it's just kind of crazy how they're, like Terry says, you know, it's an entry point. It's a possibly entry point that they could be going into and into the earth where they're finding these crafts. Now, Bob Lazar, he's credited for the Area 51 S4. You know, he was in S4. I think it's like 40 or 50 miles away from Area 51. So it's not, S4 was in a different area. And
Papoose Lake.
Yeah, so he talks about these crafts and how they were possibly. He says that he thinks personally that it might be these things might be ancient. In other words, they dug them out of the ground, right?
Yes.
From somewhere.
Yes.
And they had this power source that nobody could figure out, not even himself. He wasn't there long enough for able to figure this out. But my hypothesis, in a sense, is that, okay, so these things are going inside volcanoes, right? And they have to be like deep tunnels or maybe some crevices in there, whatever. And if they found these 9 craft that he's talked about, and he says they're all different shapes, they didn't all have this, you know, that sports model, like he said, shape. They all had different shapes. And, you know, he just thinks that these things are ancient. And when I see a UFO or a UAP go over these areas, you know, it kind of reminds me of that, what he said, that these things are ancient. So, well, I mean, what are your thoughts about this, Terry, real quick?
My thoughts are, I believe that a large majority of these craft that we're looking at are made of basalt. I believe that we've got like a basalt and we've got an obsidian type setting. I agree that they are ancient. I don't think that the ones that he was dealing with were made of basalt. He would have been able to figure that out right off the bat. When he was working on them, he said it was kind of a cross between a metal and kind of a Teflon or let's see, what was that? It was I'd have to say like a Teflon or something to that effect. What he did though was he was talking about it was something that he wasn't familiar with. The outer, I would have to say, the outer skin of these craft. The way you can do something that's seamless, like he's talking about, is you would have to have something that's molded out of like a basalt, molded out of a obsidian, and I think that's why we see black things moving across. And I think that almost all of these spheres that we're seeing that move past us are made of a basalt. And then when you, if you ever want to see what one of these look like, when they're spent, all you'd have to do is go closer to the equator of the world, and you see them in places like Costa Rica has a whole cache of these things. New Zealand has a whole cache of these things. Any place between the 33rd parallels, you'll start seeing these round spheres that are, you know, they're very well documented. So it's not like I'm making this up. And they're made of basalt. They're made of basalt, and they find that these are about the same age as you know, like they're a little older than the pyramids. They're a little older than some of the older civilizations, like the Cloud people, Peru, These things they used them as gifts for the other people. As
what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Anibal, about the Bob Lazar and these things are ancient, possibly?
Yeah, something I found that actually pretty interesting because when you look at some of the pictures from the 1800s, the few that are out there, and you see some of the craft, like recent craft, and you see almost the same model today and everything.
Right.
It's like these are the same ones from the past that are still around, coming around.
Right.
It makes me think that way. That I'm not saying that these are the same craft, but the same model is just showing up.
Right.
From the past, and even from the cave drawings and everything.
Which is the saucer shape.
The saucer shape, right?
Yeah.
Right. And we were thinking, like you said, like the orbs that come down. Now I've heard this before, and I think that theory is true. It's like just like we send our drones everywhere else. I've talked about it on my podcast before. I think that these orbs that come down off these ships, these motherships or these smaller ships, they're just drones. They're just kind of checking out the area, seeing what's out there. Do some malfunction and hit the ground? I think so. I think that's what they found. I think that's what they found in Brazil. Now, there's been so many sightings in Mexico, man. I mean, so many in South America and Brazil. It seems like these two are the super, super hot spots. You know what I mean?
Brazil has that big anomaly right off the coastline.
Right.
It's a gravitational anomaly. So they would probably end up with some of the better sightings in the whole world right there in Brazil. I would have to say that Brazil. Also, there was one story of where the military was chasing something around, and it was going through a village. It was a gray, and one of the guys in the village touched this thing, and when he touched it, it ended up like a shock kind of thing went through him, and this guy ended up dying of massive infections just from touching a gray, just from touching the gray.
Really?
So
well, there's a law against that.
I think there is.
There is. You're not supposed to come in contact or even close to an extraterrestrial because of the biological effects or whatever the pathogens that they might have, and that's why there is a law. There is an actual law against if you see an extraterrestrial, do not touch it, do not get near it. You can get in a lot of trouble, but who's gonna know? It's just like. I don't know, man. I see these crafts, right?
When I buy one of beer.
But there's when I see one of these crafts, and we know it's real through all three of us or all 8 or 10 of us. We know it's real. And then you see that one person, man, that's fake. That's just CGI, that's fake. And this is what I think in my mind. Now, even if a craft were to come down and land right at your feet, and you were sitting there videotaping the whole thing, and you're saying, "Man, that's a craft right there. Check it out." You're excited, you're shaking, yada yada yada. You put it on the internet, people are gonna say, "Man, that's CGI. That's fake."
Every time,
right? And it could be real as hell, But what we do is we analyze these things to make sure that what we're saying, we're not full of crap. We're not. Do we get one wrong? Maybe. Yeah, man. We're human.
Yeah, sure.
We're gonna get one or two wrong.
Not everything is real.
Exactly. We got a lot of people talking right now on our feed right now, talking about the EMFs. Angela's still talking about the EMFs. She says they're really big on that one. It's got a smooth shape. Go ahead, Anibal.
You have a point on that. How when we say we analyze the things that we look for. UFOs, UAPs, or whatever they want to call them, they have a signature.
Right.
Man-made stars, planets, Venus, everything will not show the same EMF that they show. And that's every time. It doesn't fail. They always have the EMF. It doesn't have the EMF, electromagnetic field. We know it could be something else. Like sometimes it's a jet or it's a plane, but the planes or jet, man-made stuff cannot. Well, I guess some cannot produce an electromagnetic field that covers the whole area.
Right, a strong one. They'll get one. It might be about real thin, but when you see one on a craft, it's going to be about that. You'll see the craft, right? And it'll be about that thick around it. That's how you know. It's just like Terry says on the movie The Middle. He says birds and bugs don't give off an EMF. You know what I mean? And then when we talk about that, it's like. What you're seeing when you see this movie, The Middle, it's on Amazon Prime. When you see this, it's gonna show you craft that is going by real quick. Some of it's gonna look like a bug. It's gonna look like a bird. But this is one frame out of 10 frames in 1 second. So this is what you're seeing. You're seeing that one at a 1/10 of a second, and then it's gone. That's how you know it's a craft. If it's a bird, you'll see it in the whole 1 second. Or
all the way across.
2 seconds. All the way
It
across.
looked like it came and it vanished, just like that.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. Right. So that's how we know on that. Now, we're
Tino
talking
Gallegos
about.
has a lot of that. Tino Gallegos has days of footage of this, and this is just in his backyard. That's just his backyard.
His crafts. Have you seen his crafts? They have a very triangular shape. A lot of the crafts that he catches, they're very slimlining, very triangular. One of them that we shot that we posted on the movie, it almost looks like it's got like a flat and it's got a piece on top where it looks like three jets kind of moving in one section.
Yeah, you had one that looked like it was almost right out of Star Trek.
Yeah, it does.
That one, that is my favorite of all craft. That's my favorite of all craft I've ever seen on video. Right there.
Right. So
I went through a long conversation with a guy named John Edmonds on it, and John Edmonds had never seen anything like it. Out of all the things Mr. John Edmonds had seen, that was never one of them. I just want to add that in.
Speaking of John, he passed away, and Mr. John Edmonds was supposed to be on our documentary. He was excited to be on the documentary when we started shooting it last year. Right before we were going to go out there, he passed away, so he wasn't able to get on The Middle. But he was super excited. He owned a Stardust Ranch, correct? So
Stardust Ranch.
And he's the one that he interacted with gray aliens, small grays. So
he physically fought them.
Yes, he did. So, and it would have been nice to have him on the documentary, but unfortunately, this happened to him. But we did put a memory of him at the very end of the film. So if you do see his picture, this is the guy that's on there, and he should have been on our film, but unfortunately, he passed. But I'm going to bring this next video up, and I want you guys to check it out. I've showed it to Mr. Anibal before, and this is going to have a different kind of feel to this craft. Okay, let's check this out.
Oh, look at this size.
All aboard for your chance to win $1,000 every week until December 28th. That's right, $1,000 cash just in time for the holidays. To hop on board, just head to ChurchillMortgage.com and punch your ticket to the Churchill Express giveaway. Visit ChurchillMortgage.com for your chance to win big.
This is a paid advertisement. NMLS ID 1591. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Equal housing lender. 1749 Mallory Lane, Suite 100, Brentwood, Tennessee 37027.
Why don't more infant formula companies use organic, grass-fed whole milk instead of skim? Why don't more infant formula companies use the latest breast milk science? Why don't more infant formula companies run their own clinical trials? Why don't more infant formula companies use more of the proteins found in breast milk? Why don't more infant formula companies have their own factories instead of outsourcing their manufacturing? We wondered the same thing. So we made ByHeart, an infant formula company on a mission to get a lot closer to the most superfood on the planet, breast milk. Our patented protein blend has more of the important and most abundant proteins actually found in breast milk. We're the first and only U.S.-made formula to use organic, grass-fed whole milk, not skim. We even conducted the largest clinical trial by a new infant formula company in a quarter century, with clinically proven benefits like easier digestion, less spit up, and softer poops versus a leading infant formula. And we make our own formula in the USA and our very own factories in Iowa, Oregon, and Pennsylvania. ByHeart, a better formula for formula. Learn more at byheart.com.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
That.
You can see the EMF around that thing from a long ways around it. That's got a huge.
But look at the way it's shooting off some.
It's like tumbling.
And it's actually floating in the air, but it's doing these flips.
Yeah, it's tumbling.
See that?
Yeah, that's a really, really unique.
Very unusual. Never seen
its shape.
Keep on changing shape.
There's a better.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Doesn't that look like the what they call the Black Knight or Dark Knight satellite? Right there in that scene. Look at that.
And it kind of does.
It kind of looks like the Dark Knight satellite.
This thing is, and it's just floating midair. It's falling, but it's not.
Where is this? Where is this location?
I don't know the exact location, but I did grab this from Mr. Joe King, and he took it off of another guy that shared it on YouTube or something like that. But the guy actually has this kind of footage right here of this craft. I don't know how to explain this. I don't know how to explain this. It kind of looks like it's like Anibal said, like it's changing shape.
It is. You can see the power source right there.
Yeah. And yeah, I can't tell if it's, I mean, it looks like it's alive. In other words, it's not your saucer type. It's not your saucer type of shape. Yeah, it's not your Tic Tac. There you go. But it's biological. And I think that's what
biological. I go towards biological too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that Dr. What's his name? Greer?
Dr. Greer, yeah.
He's the one that talked about Stephen Greer. Yeah, he talked about these crabs being alive, that they were biological. I mean, what are your thoughts on these kind of crabs? Anibal?
Well, in my opinion, they're biological. The way they move, you know, even though it's changing shapes, they got something live about them. You know, I don't know. It's hard to explain, you know, in words for me to say it.
Right.
With the way I see it.
Were you able to break this down into the spectrum yet? This video?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I didn't want to touch it because I mean it was too perfect for me. I could. But
right. Well, I'd like to see what you get out of it. You know what I mean? I'll send it to you again so you can check it out, and then that way you can at least get us some spectrum, because you can almost see the EMF around this thing.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be way loaded.
Oh yeah, it'll be loaded. This is just a crazy looking craft, man. The way it was acting. Look at this.
Okay, I want everybody to think for a moment about the things that are running down through Dinosaur National Monument in Utah, up on the Big Wall Canyon. They've got several different paintings of different size and different types of what looks like large people, small people, very small people. There was a point there that you had this turn, and it looked a lot like one of the beings that they would have had on wall, which by the way, I also believe that whole canyon was painted out by the Fremont, showing that they were tied to the Anunnaki. So I believe that there's a lot of the Indian wall paintings and petroglyphs that you'll see on the wall that will indicate things that, like what we're looking at right here. And they'll 9 out of 10 times when you see something like this, if you see the hands, you see their hands are kind of up on the sides of the thing, or the hands are down. That indicates up is that this was something that was living, and down indicates that something had passed away. And anything that you see painted on those walls, as you're looking at that wall, generally indicates what's happening on the other side of that wall. Or in that case, at the end of this canyon. I think that what we're looking at right here is something that the Fremont may have painted.
I got one point I want to bring up on that too. Now that I think about it,
Go ahead.
It was bugging in the back of my head, but I actually saw a video of something similar to this before, but it was not in the air. It was actually floating in the ground. It was Central America, one of the, I don't know if it was Guatemala or Brazil, but they had it in the video captured by night security camera, and this thing was floating pretty much like this, but it was floating on the street, just going to one direction.
I remember seeing that.
Yes.
Ahmed James, number 22, he says it kind of looks like the one that was caught on video in Quebec. So it's a possibility that this might be what this is. He says it looks like a shape-shifting. Angela says it's a conscious craft. It's just crazy how these different kind of vehicles, air vehicles are up there, just kind of watching, right, in a sense. I don't know, man. That one always, when I first saw it, it was just it just blew me away. I couldn't figure it out. You know what I mean? I've never seen anything like that. So that's why I sent it to the master, Mr. Anibal. First, I said, dude, check this out. You have to see this. And then he was like, what the? But, it was. Yeah. So I have another video here that I want to show you guys. This was cut. It's an old. You've probably seen it before in the 90s or early 2000s. We still had the flip phones. So these guys are working up here in Mexico on top of a mountain. And one guy turns around and he sees this craft hanging there just for a split second. And he's able to pop his flip phone open. I guess, I don't know what it was, a Razor or whatever. And he started recording real quick. So here it is.
William.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah.
William.
That's a good one.
I remember that.
Look at that. Oh.
You see that?
Yeah, a pretty good broadside of it.
It's gonna.
William.
So you see, he's got the drill in his hand, and here, it twists and it turns and it takes off.
It's amazing.
That's a perfect tic tac right there.
It looks saucerish, man. To me.
Yeah.
That's I'd have to say the Tic Tac and the saucer, they're basically the same craft. A Tic Tac, you know what a Tic Tac is? It's a saucer that's stopped.
Oh, okay. I got you. Now check out the end of the video. Look at the end. Look at the end of the video, and you'll see it. What? It looks like a just throw quick flip. Bam.
Perfect. Boom. It turned up on end on them. Yeah, it turned up on end. Yeah, that is a saucer, by the way.
How about this is? Yeah. Let's see if I can edit that again. So, bam! It turns. It turns just for that second of it. Right there. Stop.
Right there.
Okay. Now
yeah,
you see
it turned up sideways.
That's Yeah, so that right there, it just tells me what Terry talks about, that when these craft are going this way or they tilt this way, they're going in a direction of where the tilt is, right? Is that what you were saying, Terry?
Direction of tilt, correct. Yeah, that's exactly right. When they tilt a specific way, they're pushing the opposite. So you got the craft going this way, and you got the power source coming off the bottom.
And you can see it. You see the power source at the bottom?
Yep.
That little dot, black dot right there, almost close to the center.
Yep, that would be.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that, Anibal?
All I can say about this, I mean, it's more than super lucky to get that shot, because that's how fast they move. And we don't know how long that UFO was there, but it's just amazing that he was able to capture this.
Exactly. So, when I saw this a few years ago, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and then it pops up every once in a while in my feed. So I just wanted people to kind of check this out and just to see for yourselves, of what we're looking at. This one was just great that he was able to catch it at that 1 second. So we're going to talk about right now we're going to see a little bit of Anibal's work. I hear an echo or something. So there's just a video of Anibal that he grabbed off of NASA. So when we show this video, I want you just kind of take a look at it, and then what we're going to do is we're going to break it down. We're going to show you Anibal's analysis on it, and that way you can see these things for yourselves. Here we go.
Oh, look at that craft.
Yeah, you can see it at the very end. Now, what caught your attention here, Anibal, on the video? Just to do an analysis on it.
Well, to me, I figure if I could see one, there'd possibly be more than one, because they move so fast. So I figured I want to test it. I want to test this video. I want to look at it in slow motion and see what else I can see in that video.
Right. So, and this is what I'm gonna show you the next one that breaks it down into the analysis. So here we go. There it is at the very end of the graph. You see that?
Is. Yep. Oh yeah. Right there at the edge of that, the heat deflector. Heat shield.
And then there it is, right there. And so there it is at the very, it kind of just shows up and it stops at the very end of that. It stops and then it just disappears. So, and this is the kind of work that Anibal does. He breaks these videos down so that way we can see the spectrum on all these things that you can't see with the naked eye sometimes. This one, you kind of saw it a little bit, but not as well as you do when you break it down in this analysis. So this is a great job you did, Anibal.
Thank you.
This reminds me so much of all the time you and I spent.
Yeah, so these
solid week. We did every movement.
Nice. So we got the Men in Black conspiracy guys. They're we got Men in Black conspiracy. They're saying hi, good job, keep on rocking the free world. We're doing a good job here today. It just we have one more video to show. I'm gonna show one more, and then I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. And this one just popped out maybe about 2 weeks ago. This craft popped out in Brazil. I guess somebody was looking out their window and they were able to grab this craft at night. Now it looks like somebody changed the colors on it a little bit so we could see it a little bit better. So they kind of put a little bit of blue in there. So let's and it wasn't me, so I don't know who did it, but here we go.
I would have done it.
Me too.
But this is that blinking light right over the city of Brazil.
It looks like there's two craft
in
here.
Brazil.
That actually looks like two separate craft.
It does.
There's something that's moving the length of the one on the bottom, but it almost looks like there's two craft here, one above the other one, and the secondary one is on top, moving from one side to the other. That's what I'm gathering.
Did
a
he
little bit
mention
to the left of the blinking light.
Did he mention was it taken behind the glass or anything, or was he outside? Do we know?
I can't tell, but I can tell by the noise in the background that they're like cleaning or doing something. So that might be behind the glass. But it might be now if it's reflecting on the other side of the glass, whatever it is that's blinking like that. I don't think it's a flare because it doesn't go straight down. It kind of goes in an angle. Yeah.
No, it's a UFO. You can take also look at the timing. It's always a weird timing.
Yeah,
right.
So the timing on that's right.
Right.
The timing is right for not right.
I'm gonna play it again.
Exactly.
See right there, you got two. Hold right there for a second. Did you see that you had two? For a second there, it had two separate, what looked like centers to it.
And it kind of looks like a lens flare too. Now, if there's a glass in between whoever's videotaping, that might be a lens flare, Terry. It might be on the top left of that craft right there. So let's play it some
the rectangle. I believe that's part of the craft.
Because it seems
either part or a secondary craft above it. That could be one large
or it
craft.
might following the craft. Yeah.
There's that.
Could you let it play a little more? Because I'm actually checking it right now myself. See if I can see a little more.
You want to keep on playing it?
Yeah, please.
I hear police in the background.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Yeah, there. I'm gonna play one more time. So
see where it
there it
separates?
is blinking.
Where the nucleus is separate. You can see there's a separate nucleus on each side of that light. That's exactly what I thought from the very beginning.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Huh.
I'm stopping it as we go. So maybe we can grab a pause on it just to see.
The light is going across. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually. I can't wait to see what what he's got to show me after this one here, Anibal. When you get a sec, I'd like to actually, after we're done, I want to see more on this one.
Sure.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can kind of see like there's something blinking on the left. It kind of looks like a reflection in a sense. I don't know. If there's a glass on there, that might be reflection. But what we need to do is, if Anibal, I'll send it to you, or whoever, and then we can check the timing of that flash, and then the object on the left, because it kind of looks like it's got two different timings on it. So, and if it does, then we know that.
I'll be able to see it clearly exactly what it is.
What part of Brazil is this? Do you have an idea what city that is?
It's one of the big cities in Brazil. I mean, it's probably one of the main ones. I can't remember off the bat, but I know I wrote it down somewhere, but I forgot exactly. Those names are hard to pronounce too sometimes.
Yeah, closer to the. Well, they speak Portuguese. They don't speak Spanish. So,
right.
Anyway, they're probably closer to the ocean. You should have seen me trying to have a conversation with some of my friends that I have in Brazil. The only way we could do it is on Facebook. I mean, we have to type. Yeah. It's the only way we can talk.
Yeah,
we try to talk to each other on the phone, forget it. I have so many friends. I have at least 2 friends in every country of this planet. You know,
nice.
and those 2 friends in each country are ufologists. So that's just the way it goes. That's what happened, right? I mean, this is our circle.
World connection. So
I am really grateful for this.
We're going to talk about this last subject, and then we'll close out.
All right.
So there was this ancient city right here that was found in Guatemala here recently.
Right on.
They used LiDAR in the deep forestry. In other words, this thing's all covered with forest, so you can't really see it from the sky or anything. So what LiDAR did was it broke up the light and was able to tell what was underneath all that forestry. Now, there is mountains and stuff like dirt on top of it as well. So they think that this was a city about 2,000 years ago, possibly within the Mayans. This is a city on the outskirts where the other Mayan temples are at, the pyramids. So it might have been a smaller city, like a metropolis kind of place, to where maybe 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people were at. Because if you can look at the picture that's kind of in color there of the LiDAR, you can see like a hole where it looks like a watering hole, and then it has other little buildings next to it, you know, to where it looks like it was a city of some sort. And of course, if you look there to the left, all the way to the left, you can kind of look at the way the LiDAR broke they're square. They're perfectly square. So that's how we know that was some sort of a pyramid or whatever. But until they uncover this, we'll know exactly what it is. They still haven't named this city because it was a recent find. And
like a little week.
As soon as it'll probably take 20 years or so, you know, maybe to get it all cleared out. What do you think about this anymore?
Well, I'll tell you the thing about LiDAR. Is it LiDAR?
LiDAR. Mm-hmm.
LiDAR. It's amazing. It's almost like there was no trees, no jungle, no nothing. It's like it stripped everything out, and you see all the different formations out of it. I mean, I wish I had that on my pocket. I'd be finding more pictures than this, but it's just amazing to me the way it works.
Oh. Does somebody have a speaker on or something? Because I can hear myself. You have the speaker or sound?
Not me.
Okay. All right. I'm probably hearing myself in my headphones.
My wife
Terry,
doesn't even talk to me. I see UFOs, so my wife don't even talk to me.
What do you think about this, Terry?
I think that at some point here, Alien Strand Disclosure Project is going to have to make a sabbatical to this location or a location very similar to it. At some point here, I want to get my hands on LiDAR. I would like to go to these locations again. I have a friend in this location that's doing this exact work, Tiberino Sanchez. He's a friend of mine. He's a friend of yours, and he produces this. This is the type of thing that he finds. He finds ancient Mayan pyramid structures and cities, And then what he'll do is how he finds them without using the LiDAR is he'll look off in the distance and he'll film craft that are going into the earth. He'll go out to the location where he sees the craft going into the earth, and he finds the same type of structure. At some point, I want to go to one of these places, and I know you do too as well. And when we do, we're going to research these in a way that they've never been researched before. We're going to research the sky. We're not going to look at the buildings as well. We're going to look at what's going into the buildings.
So Angela, she says, I was in Guatemala on a pyramid when I disappeared for 30 minutes. So, you know how they found
we need to talk to her. We need to talk to her.
You know how they found like mercury in one of the main pyramids there in Mexico?
Element 80, yes.
Yes, they found a bunch of mercury in there. So, I mean, I don't know if that has anything to do with, like, just things that happen like that. If it's got some kind of power source, energy source that makes weird things happen, right? These things are just I don't think we haven't figured it out yet. Why the pyramid shape, what was were these things a power source of some sort? We're kind of getting the hypothesis really close. I think it's about 80% or so that it's a possibility that these things were a power of some sort.
Oh yeah, I firmly believe that the location of them, again, almost every single one of these structures are within the 33rd parallels of the Earth, all the way to point zero, on both sides of it. And as the Earth rotates, it creates a static electricity between the clouds and all the things that we have, the hydrogen, as the Earth is turning, it's making things electrified. And I think that what we're doing is we found an ancient power source, we found ancient craft, and I think that as long as the Earth turns, those structures continue to power everything that we're seeing in the sky. As long as we have a 733 mile an hour rotation on this planet. When the poles shift, they have to make a shift with it, and they'll be the ones that survive this crap more than us, because they're geared towards it. They've probably even been here longer than us, and most likely we're the brainchild of them. So when it comes down to it, like every time we end up with a massive disease that takes over the whole world, I think that's just trying to narrow our numbers down. I think they're just trying to make us a little more manageable. So anytime you see a comet go by, think of that as a great big shot in the arm to whatever we might call God. And that shot just happens to be passing by our planet, and we catch a little bit of dust. We end up getting whatever disease there is that might want to be coming off of it. Seeding, I guess, is what we'd like to call it, seeding. Anyway, I think that we as a people are a major project of something, and I think that if we continue to be jerks to one another, we're not going to be here much longer, because it shows that we're not real easy to deal with. And if we learn how to be better people to one another, I think that's when we're going to end up having a big opening where we can have diplomatic talks with these things that are in our skyline. And you got to know that it's arrogant to think that white, black, and Mexican are the only thing in the world. Chinese, you know what I mean?
Right.
There's that we are rare. We are rare. We're humans, and anything else, well, they're watching us, and they probably put us here to kind of see what we would do and see if we're worth saving. So,
Anibal,
what do you?
I was gonna say, this makes me think of something else also. Actually, this is newly discovered. Like, it makes me wonder how many more civilizations are out there that we have no idea they're out there.
Exactly.
I mean, with so much missing information of what's going on with all this, and I mean, they keep on finding more and more and more. I mean, it could be deeper. We don't know if there's another civilization under it.
Yep. That Gillespie Tepe, that they found that thing was old, super old, and there was a civilization here. They're finding things that were deep in the earth, that these people were sort of like advanced as us, or even more. And then it just got wiped out. or they left.
Well, think about this for a second. Right at the point where these people were being wiped out, they were doing a lot of killing of other people around the planet. They were taking people's heads off. They were taking out the hearts of people, and they're standing at the top of this shrine trying to give whatever's in the sky. At this point, most of the time it was to the sun, but whatever was in the sky to them, they were pulling the heart out of their neighboring village people, and they were giving a sacrifice to this. So for these people to have just disappeared or to become extinct, it kind of makes sense that they managed to anger everybody around them by trying to give blood offerings to these things that are going into the volcanoes, into the skies. So whether it was the local people around them that made them disappear, or it was the things from the sky that made them disappear, or the big simple answer, the Spaniard. That could have been what made them go too.
Bingo. I'm going to say one more point.
Go ahead, Anibal.
Back to the whole thing. The knowledge that got erased or buried or whatever, how they get stones at 30 or 40 tons, just knock them on top of each other, and all that knowledge is gone. And I wonder why all of a sudden, from the pyramids, Peru, to Mexico, how is it that nobody can figure that out?
Yeah, we still can't. I mean, we use our biggest hydraulic. Did you see a video I shared? The biggest hydraulic machine that they had a forklift trying to lift one of those. I don't know how many hundreds of tons it was. Couldn't lift it. And there was hundreds of thousands of these in the pyramid of Egypt.
Quantum levitation.
Exactly, man.
Quantum levitation.
They knew something we didn't, and they still know, and we don't. Because if we did, we'd figure this stuff out and get it up there.
Could you imagine things would build?
Yeah, exactly. So, if you guys have any last things you want to say before we close out here?
I want to thank Alien Strand Podcast. I want to thank Alien Strand, the whole family of it. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's happened here that required some believe it or not, of the both of you guys. Both of you guys required a bunch of evidence on my part to get you to actually listen to what I was saying, and both of you listened. And both of you taught me a lot of stuff. Anibal, there's no education in a college system that can compete to what you've shown me. There's nothing. There is nothing. Donald, man, you believed in me, and you came out and you made a movie that is, I can't believe you made what you made with the equipment that you made it with. Actually, Amazon can't believe that you did it with the equipment you did it with. Because you made one hell of a production with cameras that are, I don't even think if they'd have seen what it was, they wouldn't even looked at you.
Exactly.
But you did it, man. You sure as hell did it. You made one great movie, and we've already got the second one on the way. It's already on the way, the second one.
That's right.
And I'm hoping that we've got 3 more.
Exactly.
After that.
Well, guess who's going to be on the second one?
I hope Mr. Quinones.
Mr. Quinones is going to be on that one.
Thank you. Yeah, he needs to be a big part of this. He's my professor. He's my teacher.
Any final thoughts there, Mr. Anibal?
I was just going to say, this was brought up before, but in any group or in anywhere they are, when somebody takes time to post a video of something they capture, don't jump to conclusion and criticize and use fake, without knowing, not even giving an explanation, just saying it's fake. Especially when the people take so much time to show what they have out there. Give it a thought before you actually put a negative comment to it.
Exactly. Yeah, because we're all administrators of these groups, and if you're ugly or disrespectful, bye-bye. We take you out real quick.
Yeah,
because we don't put up with that.
You're looking at the sheriff.
Exactly. I mean, I let people talk sometimes on Alien Strand a little bit, but once they start getting a little disrespectful to each other, I take them out because it's not what it's about, man. It's about us communicating, talking about whether you believe it or you don't. It doesn't matter. Just have an open conversation, about it, a nice conversation without throwing the F-bombs and all that stuff at each other, because that's not what ufology is about. Ufology is the community, and if you want to be part of that community, you have to stick together as one. You know what I mean? As a community, and that's why these groups are there, because we are a community. To share this information and to give it to everybody, hey man, for free. We're giving all this information for free, so that way you can be more knowledgeable of what you're seeing in the sky. So next time somebody sees something in the sky, or they show you a picture of it, everybody out there and in our show right now, you can say, hey man, I know how to break that down. I can do this now because they showed me how to do it this way by watching it in Anibal's group or Terry's group or Don's group. And this is what we're about, to show you. And if you got go ahead.
One more comment. I want to thank all the people that have been involved with this, all of it, with this program here, but also members, friends of ours that talk to us, show us the videos, share with us what they have, and let them know that we're trying to get the word out. We haven't stopped. That's our mission, to get the word out.
Exactly. Well, all right, guys. Well, thank you for being on today's show. I mean, we have Angela on there. We have Ahmed. We have Cindy. We have a bunch of people. We had a few people watching us today. And it's growing. This channel's growing. So if you guys can, if you know anybody, subscribe or anything if you like this podcast, man. That's because that's what it is. But thank you guys anyway for being on today's show. We love the knowledge and the middle, man. We're watching the middle there on Amazon Prime. $22.99, pretty cheap. Your whole family can see. You don't have to pay $100 to the theater for it. So. But anyway, thank you, brother. We'll on the next one, and if we have another one like this, we'll throw you guys back on there. And then sorry we couldn't get Jonathan on today, but maybe next time we'll have him on the show. But we'll thank you, Anibal, and thank you, Mr. Lynch.
Thanks for having us. Take care, Terry.
Welcome to the middle. and everybody, stay tuned to Alien Strand Podcast.
All right, guys. We had a little audio problems there towards the end. I don't know if one of their speakers was on or something on their end, but sometimes we have little feedback problems. That's why on radio or even on TV or podcasts they wear the headphones, because sometimes when you have a speaker there and your microphone's picking it up, you end up getting this feedback. But I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Today, we had a lot to talk about. We broke down some videos. I know you couldn't see it because you're just listening to it, but I am going to put a link to our YouTube page where the video is on of this podcast that you heard with Mr. Terry Linch and Mr. Anibal Quiñones Caballero. So, I thought it was very important to bring this out, because every time somebody talks about crafts, or a different person talks, they have different knowledge, sometimes, and these are things that people need to hear as well. Everybody has a voice. And I feel that when a different person comes on our show, or you're getting their knowledge as well. So within the near future, we're going to try to fix these little echo problems, but it was still a great podcast, man. So thank you guys for sticking around. It was a great one today. Number 84, we're already there, man. We're next time we're going to be on number 85. So remember to catch Alien Strand on 27 platforms. You can even ask Alexa and she'll play it for you. We're on Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Look for Alien Strand. Anything that you like on there, share with your friends. Remember, catch the middle on Amazon Prime. And that is on there. We'll put the link on for that movie as well on the end of this podcast. So that way you can look through those little notes that you can see on this podcast, and you'll be able to click the link. It'll take you right to the movie, and you could check it out for yourself. It's not very long, just about an hour and 17 minutes, not long at all, but It gives you a load of information of a brand new find. We're also on rewarded.tv. We'll be on there in about a week or so. So if you have that channel on your Roku or whatever, look for it there. It's called The Middle. And we're, like I said, we're getting ready to start filming part 2 to that. You have to see part 1 in order to understand part 2. But other than that, I'm glad you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Catch us on all these major platforms, all right? But until then, guys, have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening. And have yourselves a good night.
This is Kelly Green with Realty Executives, Coastal Bend and Corpus Christi, Texas. And you're listening to the Alien Strand podcast with Donald Ledesma. Buying or selling, visit me at kellygreenrealtor.com or visit me on my Facebook page, Kelly Green Realtor. See you there.
Hi, my name is Travis the Kingslayer Crawford with Elite Boxing Club from Corpus Christi, Texas, and you're listening to the Alien Strand broadcast with Donald Ledesma, the best alien podcast out there on this side of the Milky Way. My next fight is February 18th at the American Bank Center from Corpus Christi, Texas, and you can find me on social media at TravisC_361 on Instagram. Keep your gloves up and radios up, and I'll see you there.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.